Hello. No, let's do it again. Hello, and welcome to Studio Nora. No, that's not what I say. Okay. Hello, and welcome to the Studio Nora Podcast. My name is Nora, and I will be your host. If you haven't been here before, hello, welcome. I am a person who knits, sews, draws, all kinds of creative chaos. And right now I'm still living in Amsterdam with my husband, or our son, who is 8 months old, and our cat. And you're very welcome here. We talk about knitting, sewing, and some personal updates. If you've been here before, welcome back. This is episode 18. I'm recording this on the 22nd of September with the school year back in full swing. The swing is going very high at the moment, and I thought I would take this time to sit down with you folks and talk about the stuff I like to do, because I need it, and hopefully you do too. I have 1.5 finished object for you today, several works in progress, a question for you, and some personal updates, and we'll do those at the end. Alright, so let's drink tea first. For the people who've been here a long time, you might be able to recognize that we are in my actual studio, which is in the attic, and there used to be a desk right where you're sitting, but we've removed that and I'm on the floor. These are all my drawing stuff and my fabrics, and there are some of my plants in view. For those wondering, the painting in the back is one done by my grandmother, who has been known to make an appearance here on the show. Alright, so for finished objects, I do believe that this was not a cast on when I last spoke to you. Probably. But I made some DK weight socks. They are Novita. It's a new Novita sock yarn. I think it was a special edition. I haven't blocked them yet. I just put them on the thing, so they're going to grow a bit. But it was just really fun. The only thing that is so weird, and I don't understand, is the following. So, right here, I started with yellow, and I end with blue, right at the tippy toe. Here, I started with blue, and I ended with blue, even though I did the same amount of stripes everywhere. So I'm very confused as to how this is possible. Last time I spoke to you about the SSK decreases, the slip knits, and I know I did something different for these socks, and they look really good. But I don't know what I did, because usually, like, my knit two together, they look really neat, and then the slip knit, now they also look really neat. I do know, alright, I do know what I did. So, you can kind of see it. I did a slip knit, but then on the row that you're not decreasing, I twisted the stitches around the slip knit to just tighten it up, and you can kind of see it. There's a little bit more like twist, I guess, but they look really good. I still have to wash them. I hope the lighting is okay, by the way. This is really the only spot that is okay at the moment, so we'll just have to work with it. But yeah, I still have to block them, but I forgot and I didn't want to show them, so they're unblocked on blockers, but it only takes like soaking it a bit and then very pleased with them. I finished another thing, but I haven't gifted it yet because it still needs buttons and it needs blocking. But it's a Selma sleepsuit for a friend who just had a baby. This lighting is really... I just hope it works. So it's in Drops Air. The Selma sleepsuit is a pattern by Petite Knit. I made the 3 to 6 month old size because the baby was born in August and the cold is not yet here, so that should be okay. And yeah, it was a good knit. I just have to sew on the buttons, and I made yarn over buttonholes, and I just followed the pattern really. Other than I didn't do I didn't sew the pieces up, but I crocheted them because it's just easier, it's quicker, and I feel like it's a little bit sturdier, and that's nice when you're putting stuff on and off a baby. And it has these cute fold over arms and legs, so that when your baby is small you can just wrap him up or her up, and then when they grow out of like the arms you can just leave them as is. So very pleased. I've already cast on my next version because I'm dumb and I promised several people I would knit them a Selma sleepsuit, and it's a little bit more work than I remember from knitting it for my own baby, so whoops. But we're persevering and all shall be well. By the way, maybe you've noticed that my braces are out. I'm an adult again. Well, not that you're not an adult with braces, but I'm very happy they're out. They're not completely straight, but it's fine. Also, I went to the hairdresser a couple weeks ago. It was very lilac-y, but now it's just like a hint of lilac. Just blonde and a big chop. But that's more for later. Okay, these are my finished objects. Then onto my WIPs. I have a lot of WIPs. Well, not a lot, but one very not exciting WIP. It's another Selma sleepsuit. The good news is that I'm making this in the 0 to 3 months size, so it's a little bit smaller, and hopefully it will go a little bit faster. But I cast it on, and basically it's knit top down, so it's just covering half a head, I guess, at this moment. But yeah, so there's always a Selma sleepsuit on the go. Then, I'm very sorry if you can hear construction, but I've decided not to wait on others. I have decided not to wait for the construction to be finished, because if I would do that, we would be here. Well, we wouldn't be here at all, because there's always construction. Alright, then, gonna save the most exciting things for latest. First, I am making Martijn a sock in, oh, what is it called again? It's a Zauberball sock yarn. It's like sport weight, color changing, and it's really nice. And this is the sock so far. It went really fast in the beginning, but I cast on using 3mm needles, and about halfway I decided that was probably going to be too big. I mean, it's quite a big sock. So I'm just continuing in, what is this? So it's size 2, so 2.75mm. I'm gonna knit one sock, see if it fits him, and then, I don't know, maybe I'll knit 3 socks. Or I'll just rip this one out, I'm not sure. But I'm following just a vanilla pattern with heel flap and gusset. And this has been my naps in the park knitting mostly. Because a sock is always nice to have on the go. not very exciting. What is very exciting is another sock. Last time I showed you this beautiful yarn. It is, of course, by StudioSolas, and I made myself a little sock set. Oh, this is connected. With this undyed gray, and then this multicolor autumny set. And it's 70% wool and 30% tencel, all naturally dyed. And this is the sock so far. Very happy with it. Look at it. So yeah. It's knitting up really lovely. I am knitting them up in 2mm needles. Why doesn't it say? Yeah, so a size 0 or 2mm needles, and just, oh, look at these colors. Isn't that just pretty? Another heel flap and gusset. Kind of winging this one in terms of numbers, because I cast on 64 stitches, but in a size smaller than I usually do, so I'm not quite sure how deep to make the heel flap. I'm just trying it on in the park every time I work on it, and people look at me funny, but that's okay. There's also a lot of women, in particular older women, who see me knitting with a napping baby, and I always, you know, say some words of encouragement, which is very nice. Yeah, so that is one work in progress, which I keep in this early prototype of a bag. And then for my last work in progress, I have the feeling this is going to be a very short episode. That's okay. But you know. Yeah, so I am making for Olivier, my son, I am knitting him another sweater, and I'm knitting him the Sibling Sweater, which is designed by Penrose Knits, or Laura Penrose, and it is designed for ages 1 year old to 12 years old, and there's 6 sizes, so I just decided to knit Olivier the smallest one. It's 1 to 2 years old. He's 8 months, but it will probably fit when I finish with it. And I'm knitting them up in this lovely blend. Are we surprised? By StudioSolas. I do hope I have enough, because I have 1 skein of each, and according to the pattern it's not, but we'll wing it, it's fine. It is BFL Shetland alpaca, 40% BFL, 40% Shetland, and 20% alpaca DK weight, and it is shaping up to be really cool. These are my colors. And this is what it's going so quickly because it's striped and you just want to, you know, get to the next stripe. I don't know how to really show you. Well, there's a back of the sweater, and there's this really nice detail of increases. I'll be able to show it better once there's a front attached to it, but it's just, it smells so good, so intensely woolly. It's not like wet sheep, but it's you know, the good kind of sheep. Alpaca, I guess. But yeah, I'm flying through it. I did make a tiny mistake in the increases somewhere at the top, where I don't know what I did, but there's kind of like a hole, if you can see that. But I think I'll just like, there's an end there anyway, so I'll just like fake it a bit. Yeah, and this is what I just did like last night in a couple hours. I did have to rip out a couple times because I misread the instructions. But that's okay. So yeah, it's gonna be a really nice sweater. And I do know that she is in testing right now for the sibling sweater my size. So potentially I could knit, maybe for next winter or this winter, but potentially I could knit us matching sweaters, which would be really fun, I think. This lives in another nice bag, also one of the old prototypes of the project bags. Speaking of prototypes of project bags, I am in a process of sewing up some new ones. Oh yeah, I made a swatch. So this is my swatch. Oh, it's just so nice. It's very nice. And I'm almost completely perfectly on gauge. The row gauge is a tiny bit off, but I'll just stretch it a bit and just, it'll be fine. It's alpaca, it grows a bit, right? But losing track. Speaking of project bags, I am knitting. I am sewing up some new project bags because I would really love to relaunch my Etsy shop, which has been closed because first I was pregnant, then I delivered a baby, and also there's really not much stock at the moment, so I have to sew up new things. And with a baby and working, time has been scarce. Also selling our house. I forgot to mention that if you're wondering, this is my Winter's Beach cardi, which is great for teaching because it's airy. And I've been going for the full like English teacher aesthetic. I'm wearing my Winslow culottes. Let's see if I can show you. Yeah, you can't really see, but it's the English teacher aesthetic, I think, which is nice and makes me feel more like myself instead of just like maternity jeans and a t-shirt. Project bags. I'll be right back. So there's a couple plain ones in this rust linen. Do we see a color story here? But there are also some ones I'm pretty excited about. So they're all just cut out and not in bag form yet. But won't this be cool as a project bag? Just. And the other side of this one is like this. These are prints from 2 or 3 years ago. 2, I think. So you can see that the print really holds up well. And there's a couple more here. This is a smaller one, also with the maple leaves. And there's the back of this one. It's just, oh, I love them so much. I'll just show all of them. So this is a medium bag, and this is also a medium bag. I've had to piece some bits together because I want to use all my printed fabric. There you go. That it's a bit this one doesn't really show up as good on camera, but it's also really nice. And then there's one left. So I have no idea when I will be able to relaunch the shop. I hope in like a couple weeks, but it could well be after we've moved. Last one is also really cool. Now if that isn't an expressive print, I don't know what is. Look at it. And I really like it paired with the plain canvas. Otherwise I think it gets a little bit too much, a little too in your face if it's just all over printed fabric. So yeah, I've been chipping away at these bags. Just like every time I have a little bit of time on my hands, I go upstairs and I sew a couple seams or I press some fabric and little by little we will get there. So yeah, those are, I think, all of my works in progress. Yeah, so I have a question for the hive mind. So last time I told you about that I wanted to knit my husband a sweater, and I swatched for the Moby sweater, which the Moby sweater looks really cool, but the yarn I had in mind doesn't really go with the project. And then because I couldn't read my swatch, like the fabric is really nice, I just can't see the stitches. It's difficult to explain, but I just can't count. Like I couldn't measure my gauge, and then, you know, rather not start an all over cabled sweater if I can't know if I'm on a gauge. But then the other day Martijn was cold and he put on my cardi and it actually looked really good on him. So I said, well, how about I knit you a cardigan? And he said, yes, that's really cool. And then he told me about there's this Netflix series called Beef. And in that series there is an actor, I think he plays a Japanese man. It's the, if you've seen the series, it's the husband of the female main character, and he wears a lot of cardigans, like cabled cardigans, and it's really this super cool Japanese style. But I've been trying to find a pattern like that, and maybe it's just my Ravelry skills, that's possible. But do you know of like a pattern book or a designer or a pattern for like a slouchy fitted cardigan designed for men with cables? Because my husband would like me to know, so I can knit him a sweater. So if you happen to know of any cool patterns that fit that criteria, please let me know, because I'm not gonna knit it for him for Christmas, but you know, I would like to knit it for him just because I like knitting and I like him too. So yeah, since I last spoke to you, I lost my braces, or rather last Tuesday my braces were taken off because I'm done, and my teeth are not completely straight yet, but they're straight enough. So yeah, I have my normal smile back, which is very weird, and I've forgotten how to smile, I think, like the say cheese smile. Not very good at that one, but it's great to have them off. It was worth it, but I was done. So yeah, that's one. The other news is that we sold our house. Actually, Martijn signed the document yesterday, and we're still in our current house until the end of November, and then the first 2 weeks of December we'll have 2 houses, and then middle of December we'll officially move out of our current house, which is really exciting but also very bittersweet, because we love our house, and if it would have had 1 extra room, a garden, and not in the center of Amsterdam, we would have stayed here. But yeah, it's all about location, isn't it? So our time has been consumed by just selling this house, going back to work, and our son Olivier is 8 months right now, and I'll insert some little footage of him if you're interested. But yeah, it's just so fun. The only problem is, so he still wakes up at night because he is quite a little bit bigger than your average 8-month-old baby. So he needs a lot of food basically, and he likes to get it at night. And this morning I woke up, usually he sleeps in his own bed, but sometimes I just feed him in the night and everybody falls asleep and everybody's safe, don't worry. But I woke up with his feet like up against my neck, and he was all the way stretched out, and with his hands he was touching his dad, who was just like sprawled across the bed, and we were just lying there like, Okay, good morning everyone. And the cat Sam was also very upset because we still have our mosquito net over the bed. So he can't sleep on us. So yeah, he was like on the mosquito bed at the end of the bed. He was upset. I was like cold because everybody had blankets but me. So yeah, it's been interesting. But that's really, I think, all I have to say. It's a very short episode, but that's okay. I do have an idea, though, if you're interested. I'll just knit a bit on my sibling sweater. If you would like to knit with me, you're very welcome. Probably put some music over this, and I'll chat a bit with you. So grab yourself some knitting. You probably already have it. A hot or cold drink, and work a bit on your projects. So, as you might know, I work as an English teacher, and in a Dutch high school. I teach this year. I have 2 final year, so exam classes, and 1 grade below that, and then I have our fresh class from, what do you call them? I think it's 8th graders. Like they're 12, so it's their first year in high school, and I haven't taught that younger kids for a long time, so that's always just like, I feel like I have to tame lions, 29 of them, but my older kids, I had to send somebody out of the classroom today because he tried to fake cut somebody else's hair without consent, obviously, so that was fun. It's just... But I also have some kids that I get to coach on like planning and studying and just general how do I survive high school stuff, and it's been really fun, very interesting. Also, I have been reading a lot. I read one book that, although... So I really agree with this book, but the way the book is written, I don't really agree with. It's called Atomic Habits. I'll put a picture up here. By, his name James Clear, I think. And it's, well, it is about like tiny little habits that make your life a lot better in the long run. I've been using that book to coach my kids, but we've also used that book to have some good habits ourselves, so me and Martijn, me and my husband. And we've started this new thing where when Olivier is asleep in bed and the baby cam goes on, then the first thing we do is a tiny little workout, and then we do a little clear up of the house. So we just tidy up and do the laundry and the dishwasher and stuff. And it's been so nice. Like, it's ridiculous how nice it is to know that every night, it's not even an argument or, you know, could you please help me with, because it's just the thing we do. I love waking up and making breakfast in a tidied kitchen instead of like having to wash the pan that I need, or like having to clear the table before we can have breakfast. That has been really, really, really nice. And I've also been reading a lot of like fantasy, cozy mysteries and stuff. And I recently started this new book series. I'll look it up for you. The Myrtlewood Mysteries. And it's basically Gilmore Girls, but then set in a magical town. And it's really nice. It's like, One of the main characters is a middle-aged single mom, and it's about her and her daughter. Think Gilmore Girls. But it's almost like it's a young adult novel series, but then for grown-ups, I guess. So it's really fun. There's some romance, but it's not a lot of spice. So, you know, if you're not into spice, this would be a good book for you. And it's been just really nice to read about all the little mysteries and adventures and stuff. I read the first book in 2 days, which is quite quick for me. I think it's quite quick for anybody. It's also really funny that, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That the couple who bought our apartment, the woman, she also sews. So they told Martijn that one of the convincing things was this studio, which is of course a sewing studio, and also that she and I share a similar taste in books. So that was nice to know. I think it's good to know that the people who will live here after us are, or at least seem to be, good people, because we are very attached to this house, and it's just nice to know that it's going, you know. What did I do here? That is going to nice people. Something strange. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Yeah. So I think I'm going to let you go. I hope that you have a lovely end of September and a good spooky season, because October is coming up. And I hope to speak to you soon with some more knitting or sewing content. I have been working on some stuff, but it hasn't really been working out otherwise, so that is for next time. And take care, and I'll see you soon.